On 31st of August 2020, India's National Statistical Office released the GDP estimates for first quarter for the current financial year. These numbers were worse than expected. India's GDP growth from April to June quarter, for this fiscal year slumped 23.9%. This is the worst slump since the country started releasing quarterly data in 1996. Among other major economies, India's contraction was the sharpest. Now, from what are these GDP numbers derived from? Below you can see how GDP is calculated. In this, the consumer spending, which is the largest contributor in GDP, has seen a 27% fall compared to the first quarter last year. Similarly, investment by the private sector has seen a massive 47% fall. Yet the government spending is increased by 16%. This helps the economy, but the government cannot sustain this large spending for a long time. This is due to low income and limited tax collection. Next, the net export-import has increased by 165%. This seems like a good thing, but it shows that the demand of consumers has dropped significantly. Hence, the reason for drop in import. Now, in this data, if you look at major sectors of the economy, you will see that except agriculture, all other sectors have shown minus growth rates. But the question, why India's GDP numbers are worst, is still unanswered. This question was asked to the government. To that, India's government said, "It is an act of God." Now, let's look at the actual reasons behind this. This worst performance is not just due to the COVID crisis. Yet India was already going through an economic slowdown. India's GDP growth was contracting continuously from the last 8 quarters. It was 7.3% in March 2018, and now it has fallen to just 3.1% till March 2020. One of the major reasons behind this slowdown is the demonetization in 2016. This caused disturbance in the cash flow of the economy. Similarly, GST implementation also hit the economy badly, as it was aimed to generate more tax revenue, but in reality tax revenue has seen a decline. Apart from this, one other aspect was low investment in businesses. And this happened due to bad business sentiment, high non-profitable assets of banks, unstable international market, and social and political unrest in India. So, the Indian economy was already going through a slowdown. The contraction was expected, but the COVID crisis made it way worse than expected. But what made this quarter more worse? According to some experts, the government failed in the implementation of lockdown. The central government implemented a strict lockdown in the entire country, instead of giving more authority and freedom to the state governments. So, this stopped the economic activities completely, and lead the GDP to rock bottom. Now, how this low GDP number will affect normal people? Generally, in a slowdown GDP falls sharply, and with it the prices of consumer goods also fall. But this is not happening in India right now, rather prices of consumer goods are increasing. And this is due to disturbance in the supply chain. As a result of this, inflation is increasing. Apart from this, unemployment is also a major problem in front of India. Even before the COVID crisis, unemployment rate was 45 years high. Now imagine, how bad will this number be after the crisis? In the end, it will be hard for normal people to survive in this kind of economic situation. So, how much time will the recovery take? Well, experts fear that India is staring at a recession. And we cannot expect the economy to recover fast. It is going to take its own sweet time. The next quarter could show a V-shaped recovery, but the GDP number will probably remain negative. And if this happens, then India will enter recession officially. Many experts believe that India would see positive GDP growth only after quarter 4 of this fiscal year. So, what should the government do? Well, in the immediate term, the government needs to focus on reversing the collapse in domestic demand and private consumption, as this contributes 60% of the GDP. It could be done by more aggressive fiscal and monetary response to get the economy back on track. Also, to start the flow of money in the market, government must bring back the labor force to work. And this can be done by opening all major industries completely. But all of this could be done only if the government first controls the COVID infection cases. And if COVID infection cases rise with similar speed as today, then the situation could get worse. So only good government policies, and right economic decisions unlike before, could reboot India's economy. So, what are your views about this video? Let us know in the comments section below. And we are glad you watched the full video. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. Thank you.